When I think of privilege, I guess the first thing I think of is, for example, like where you live, like what sort of town you live in, like how wealthy that town is, and like what sort of like resources you have access to.
The first thing that comes to mind is white privilege. I've just been thinking of that a lot lately with like the Black Lives Matter march that just happened on campus. Yeah, just people that have certain opportunities that others don't.
I would say like being like placed in like a higher group just because like what you have or like what color skin you are, stuff like that.
Having more than other people, even though you didn't really earn that, you just kind of were born with it.
I usually think of white privilege. Most white people are able to do more things than African Americans or other races because of the system of racism in the country.
The first thing I think of is white privilege. I just think about how like the institutions, especially in our country and in most Western societies, are built by and for certain individuals and are at the expense of others who do not fit into that certain mold. So I guess I think about how, I guess a good example would be the amount of white male politicians and their interests are self-interest often, or lobbyists who work with corporations who are owned by white men or by white women as well, and how it's all sort of in the self-interest to preserve whiteness.
I think in terms of like class, like people that are wealthier, I think have more privileges and more opportunities than those that don't. And also just in terms of like minority status too, I think that plays a big part as well.
I would say there's a lot of like white privilege because that's all there is on this campus pretty much. We're not a very diverse campus, and a lot of these kids you see like with the nice clothes and like all the nice stuff.
Maybe like economically. I mean, I have a couple of friends who are, I don't really know, like they're obviously very wealthy, and then I have a couple of other friends that are a little below the bar. So
Okay.
I just think there's kind of like a bit of a gap.
White male privilege mostly. Like there's a lot of sexual harassment that I've personally experienced by like rich white boys that are on sports teams, things like that.
It was not.
No? How come?
I guess because I didn't have to think about it too much since, I guess I am like white, and like I come from a town that was like primarily like white people, and although I think like race and diversity is like very important, it was never like that much of a problem for me like myself and like making that decision.
Race, no, it was money.
Kind of, because like I'm white, so like I don't really have to think of it as
Yeah.
often, but I wanted a more diverse campus, but here just gave me like more money, to be honest.
No,
No, and how come?
that means nothing to me. I don't know.
I didn't really think about race until I was on campus and I saw how white it was.
It's something that I considered when I was looking for schools. And I think a lot about, I'm a senior now, so during my time here I think about how this really didn't fit into my idea of diversity, but I've tried my best to seek out, like, we have a great multicultural office here, so I try to go to events and things like that, but it was a factor while I was looking for schools, but not a factor in choosing Salve.
I think so, because I do have a few friends who are in like the multicultural housing or whatever, and I know they have like different perspectives on experiences they felt like when they first visited the school, for example, and how they feel just generally, among the campus community.
Honestly, I think yeah, because since it's primarily white, like I fit in with like pretty much everyone, but if I was of a different race, I wouldn't really know what to do, to be honest.
I think I would feel really left out and uncomfortable if I was not white, because I would say like 95% of the population is white, and a lot of people on this campus are racist. They've like taken down flyers from the Black Student Union and yelled racist things while running around campus.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think that my experience in general would be different if I was of a different race.
Yeah.
I think people probably, especially here, feel othered, probably feel ostracized. And it's not like it's, active racism on campus or anything like that, but I'm sure there's little things every day that we don't even think about that happen to people. So.